So the concept of the restaurant, I mean, the vision was to always have great food, great wines, great atmosphere. That was the three things that we wanted. We also wanted to serve seasonal, local ingredients. I mean, Japan has so many ingredients, and just Kyoto alone, they have 36 own vegetables, which is called kyo-yasai. So we also have all the mountain vegetables, which are very short seasons. So they're just around for 2-3 weeks or a month, and then it goes, and it's the same with fish. So yeah, it's always discovering new produce, which is great. We took it over in 2021, and then we opened in May 2023. So it's about close to 2 years of planning and renovation. So it's a big house, it's an old house, it's a kyomachiya. It's about 250 square meter. So it was a lot of work to be done. And then for the first year, there was just 3 of us, staff, just myself and another young chef in the kitchen. And then also we have a restaurant manager. We got a Michelin star within our first year. We were not expecting it, so it was an amazing present also, and an amazing achievement for the team. And then yeah, now we've been open since then. And, my name is Alexis MOKO. So I'm French. I was born in Versailles, which is just close to Paris. So in France, I worked at Taillevent under Alain Soliveres. So I worked there for 7 years, which is where I learned a lot. That's why I stayed so long. After that I went to London and I worked at the Ledbury, and then after that I did the opening of the Lanesborough Hotel with Eric Frechon. And then after that we came to Kyoto in 2019. My wife is Japanese. She wanted to come back to Japan and get closer to her family. And then as a chef, Japan is a great country, they have all fresh produce. So I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to come here. And then Corona happened in 2020. Which was then very difficult for me to find a job. So this is how this restaurant came about. So I couldn't get a job, so we created a job for me. So for the booty dish, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about the ingredients. So we dry age it. I mean, it's already good when it gets here, but obviously dry aging it, we're just making it better. We just simply char it, and then we have just a nice vinaigrette with it, which will just give it a bit of a kick. We put some caper and mustard dressing. We put a little bit of piment d'Espelette. And on top of that, we have some raw vegetables. After we finish it with the snow of the yogurt and mustard snow, as it melts in your mouth, it also makes it a bit more creamier, and it just binds everything back together. It's fatty, it's a bit smoky, it has the croutons, it has texture. For me, it has everything that a dish needs. I'm classically Frenchly trained, and I always apply French techniques, all the things that I've learned in the past, to the Japanese produce. I'm really careful not to make anything Japanese. It is for me 100% French, but using Japanese ingredients. We won't use any soy sauce or anything like this because obviously that's very Japanese. We do use some miso. We also make our own misos. So one of the dishes is a scallop, and then the sauce is a base of mushroom. But to season it and thicken it, we use some bread miso. That's how we would kind of use misos, is if we make it ourselves, or if it's just a little bit somewhere to make a dish better. So it's very interesting to use it, but I still feel it has to be very subtle in the sense of just to enhance a dish. For the scallops, yeah, it's all about the produce again. Really nice scallops from Hokkaido, which we serve with the Jerusalem artichokes, which works really well together. And then obviously the sauce is a bit of the star of the dish, I think, in terms of flavor, and I mean the depth of it, that really just brings it all together.
C'est une base de champignons, et après on l'émulsionne avec un miso qui est fait au pain au levain en fait. Donc avec les entames de pain qu'on a, on le mixe avec du koji. C'est une sauce qui est très complexe en termes de goût, avec beaucoup de umami. Après nous avons une purée de topinambour. Voilà la sauce. Ça met à peu près 8 mois à faire, le miso au pain. Après la Saint-Jacques de Hokkaido. On fait bien rôtir avec une belle coloration, une belle croûte. Et après on vient de déposer nos chips de topinambour dessus pour apporter de la texture et du goût aussi. Terminons la Saint-Jacques avec une petite huile de shiitake.
For the hirame, we want to showcase 2 things. Part of our vision and concept is about using what's the best of now. So that's why on this dish we really try to showcase those vegetables, just nicely cooked. We cook them every day just before service, so we always serve fresh things like that. And then obviously we have the fish, which also has been dry aging. So the texture is a little bit more dense, but it's still really moist, which is amazing. And then after we have a little French touch with the hollandaise sauce, because I feel also that has the fattiness, but it also has a little bit of sourness to it that brings it all together. So I also think that, you know, this dish is also complete to me in terms of the flavor profiles and what we're trying to showcase, because obviously, you know, we spend that time to drive an hour every morning to go and get the vegetables. Yeah, we want to showcase what the local growers are doing and farmers, and so that's also another point that we try to put across.
So these are the vegetables from Ohara. So we go there in the morning and then we buy whatever they have, whatever's in season. So our concept, our menu is not based on the classic kind of four seasons, we kind of just use whatever they have. So Japan has 72 micro seasons, so our menu is always changing. Lunch is different to dinner, and then from one day to the next we can change, whether it's the protein or whether it's the vegetables. It's more of the nature dictating to us what to do than the other way around, which is a lot more interesting. And our regular customers, they also come for that.
In France, we have a lot of gibier. You know, I love to eat it, so I want to serve it to our guests. We dry age it, so I really want people to taste deer. And we have some guests that say, oh no, deer, I don't really like deer. But we tell them, please try, because this is a little bit different. And usually they try, and 9 out of 10, they say, wow, actually it's really nice. I've never had deer like this before. So for me to change that perception is also great. Also working with local hunters I think is really important. We need to keep working with these people because it also keeps them going in a job, and also they do a great job in keeping the population of deers and wild boars and all these wild animals to a certain level, which is, I think, is great. And then using wild animals, I mean local wild animals, I just feel like there's nothing better than that, to work with hunters which really care about what they do. It's very important to our concept also. It's all about the produce. So we try not to put too much on the plate. We really want to let the ingredients talk for themselves.
丸々一頭買いっていうのはもう一切ばらさず首を落とした状態でお持ちするっていうのはもうモコさんのとこだけですね。いろな部位を前肩とかバラ、首、その辺ってすごい料理にするのが難しい部位で、まあミンチにしたりとかでは全然使えるとは思うんですけども、まあもっともっとなんていうんですかね、いろんな調理方法をもう見つけてほしいっていう気持ちです。料理人さんには。じゃないと、やっぱり無駄になるというか、いい部分ばっかりじゃなく、鹿全体の肉をうまいこと使えるっていうのを、まあ、僕らみたいな解体場と一緒に考えてもらえたら嬉しいかなと。はい。そういう心境です。
For the deer, obviously we buy the whole animal, so we use every single part of the animal. Every part has different textures and flavors, so I think it's very interesting. And it's also good to use the whole animal, not just to buy the fillet, because what about all the other parts? And the other parts are equally good. So I think it's good to use everything to showcase that, from the bones to make the stock, from the trimmings to make the jus, and then the neck and the shoulder. A lot of people don't use those because they're a bit difficult to use. But the way we use them is also very good. It has a lot of flavor and the texture is very soft and tender. And then after, of course, the leg. So we roast them. The texture and the flavor is also very different from the filet. So we really try to use everything. And then this one we use some cabbage with it. We do a compote of cabbage, a bit of homemade bacon. And then after we finish it with a juniper emulsion.
Après ici nous avons le cou et l'épaule. Donc ça c'est fumé et confit. De cuisse, un morceau de filet. On utilise vraiment toutes les parties de l'animal. Après, nous avons des shiitake. Nous faisons en pickles avec une huile de noisette, du vinaigre. Après, nous terminons ça avec un jus de chevreuil sauce vin rouge. Donc, on utilise les os pour faire le fond et après les parures pour faire le jus. Après, nous terminons ça avec une feuille de chou juste grillée. Nous allons finir avec notre cœur déshydraté, comme un assaisonnement en fait. Ça fait une légère poudre dessus, petite trait d'huile fumée.
So as you saw me using, the quotidien knife is really good. It's very versatile. I use it for the fish, I use it for the meat, I use it for vegetables. You can really use it for any kind of job in the kitchen. I mean, it's very, very easy to use. The blade is sturdy, but it's also flexible at the same time, so it's very nice. The handle is very nice, it's very comfortable, and also the blade is, of course, very sharp and very thin. It's a real pleasure to work with this knife. La mandoline is great. First of all, it can stand. So a lot of mandolines, they cannot stand, so you have to hold them with one hand and then you have to slice with the other. So that's really good, it's amazing. It's a lot safer. And then also you have the little measurement knob at the back, which you can really choose the size of the vegetable that you want to slice. So it's a lot more consistent, it's a lot more accurate. And also the blade is really sharp and it's just really clean cut when you use it. So it's a really good mandolin to use. I was lucky to spend 6 months in pastry in Paris. So the chef Alain Soliveres, once I told him I wanted to leave after 6.5 years, he told me not to go until I did pastry. So at the time, as a young chef, I was thinking, my God, I don't want to do pastry. I'm a chef and I want to learn cooking, not pastry. But he told me that I had no choice, that I had to go. So I went, but today I'm so thankful to him because I can do all the desserts, I can make all those things, you know, something that has work on it, you know. So we temper all our own chocolates and we do all these kind of things here. So it's, you know, there's a lot of work behind it. I think it's beautiful when it comes to the table. A lot of people always say, oh wow, it's beautiful, but then they taste it and also, wow, it's so tasty too, you know. I enjoy making desserts now. So for the pre-dessert, we're using parsimon, so kaki. We just cook them with some little bit of sugar, some cinnamon and vanilla. And then after, on top of that, we have an almond crumble. And then we finish it with a honey and vanilla ice cream. And the honey is from Kameoka, so it's also a local honey. And then honey and parsimon kaki, I feel it's a very good combination. So that's where the idea came from, of making this dish. So it's a pre-dessert, so it's just before the dessert, but it's after the main course. So it's something that's refreshing, not too heavy, and yeah, just works very well. For the main dessert, we have a mascarpone mousse, which we season with a bit of lemon juice and some vanilla. And in the middle, we have a milk chocolate ganache. And then we glaze the dessert with a dark chocolate. And then at the bottom, we have dacquoise and also sablé. And then we serve it with a caramel and vanilla ice cream. We have also a caramel sauce at the bottom. I do what I feel is right, and I do what I want to do, and I do the things that I enjoy to eat. Hopefully it does please the local people, which it does, so I'm happy with that. But when we first started, we just, you know, let's do what we want to do and let's just do it really well. And I think also working with the local community helps a lot. So all our plates are locally made. Obviously the vegetables and everything, the meat is locally sourced, and I think that helps also. To be part of the community is to be involved 100%. We have a great following and it just happened naturally, which is amazing, so it's great.